So I think we should talk a bit about what's going on with Belgium and Germany, starting
Yeah.
with Belgium. Why the hell what's up with Belgium? Why do they suck kinda?
I
Do
mean,
do they suck? Were they unlucky? What's going on?
they talked about some of the players talked about themselves, as remember the
It got
preview.
it got
I
heated.
remember looking at that national squad call up and I was like, it looks good in 2018, but time has kind of passed since then. And you basically had almost the same roster except for like three people. So it just didn't look promising. They didn't look very strong. It didn't look like, and a lot of the players that were so dynamic for them were no longer dynamic players anymore. So, who are you really going to count on? And Lukaku coming off an injury. Eden Hazard is a huge shell of what he used to be. Alderweireld, I keep pronouncing Alderweireld, and the other guy, one plays in
Vertonghen.
Benfica, and the other one was basically a free agent until like October.
Yeah.
So it's just not looking, too strong. And of course, they have Courtois and De Bruyne, but you can only do so much with a couple players like that, especially Belgium. And that group is a tough group. And I think the biggest issue is if they go against some of these other teams like Japan who have a lot of speed, that's going to kill them because they don't have any speed. They looked very slow out there. And, I think they got lucky with Canada where, just the ball just didn't go in. But we saw you give up 21 shot attempts to Canada. That's not saying much about your team. And Japan just really just sliced them up. So it was a lot.
Did Japan play Belgium? I don't think so.
No, I'm sorry, not Bel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I got
Morocco.
confused. Yeah, it just didn't look for them, and that's why I didn't pick. I didn't pick them. Remember, I didn't pick Belgium in that group.
Caesar, hold on.
That's what I'm saying.
We're
I
not
didn't pick.
Caesar.
I
What?
didn't pick them. I
Caesar,
received a lot of
Caesar,
contention for that here in
Caesar.
the
We're
chat. I
gonna
did
talk
not pick them.
Caesar.
I did not pick them
Caesar. We're gonna talk about the picks in a little bit.
because I want credit for my one correct pick.
Caesar, hold on. Caesar, I wrote yours down. Just don't even talk. Don't even talk.
Just say it.
Holly, what do you think? What's going on with Belgium?
I mean, Caesar covered a lot of it, but I just don't think they never really looked like they even wanted to be there. Like they weren't
Mm,
playing like they wanted to be at the World Cup. And
mm.
it's true that like a lot of the players that they have just aren't what they were even like 4 years ago. And I'm pretty sure I saw a quote somewhere or some sort of article that Hazard admitted himself he's not what he was in like 2018. So like when you have players like that and the mindset is like that, I just think it clearly wasn't cohesive as they weren't cohesive as a team. And I mean it showed in their results. And I do think they got lucky against Canada. That was a really good game to watch, but it was unfortunate the result. And I don't think it says much about Belgium either. Like they could have easily beaten Canada by a lot more than they did and done better in the group, but uh, they can no longer be considered any sort of dark horse. Their FIFA ranking number 2 is a lie.
Trash. Yeah, literally.
That needs to be changed, and it will obviously after this tournament. So I'm curious to see how much they'll drop.
They're a European team, so they'll probably just drop to
Not
like
much.
6. Yeah.
They'll still be like
Yeah.
top 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is my question. I thought it was really interesting. And do you think that a lot of no one's really putting blame on Roberto Martinez at all?
Well, he resigned.
Yeah, but I
Um,
know he resigned, but it's like at the same time I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you kind of really were kind of really weird about some of the players, like the starting players, like Batshuayi scored, then he doesn't get to start again for the rest of the tournament. In this game, he didn't even play. And
yeah.
the most dynamic player I've seen them play the whole week was the kid that plays for Stade Renault. What's his name?
Count Dooku?
Yeah, Count Dooku. Count Dooku played, and he looked so good. He was doing moves. He was energetic. I'm like, why was this guy sitting down for like the whole group stage? That's the most life and energy I've seen in your whole team is right there in his 30 minutes.
Well, Roberto Martinez, remember in 2018, he did not like I never liked him. I always thought he was Fugazi,
Me
but
too.
he was intimidated by Roger Nainggolan and didn't call Roger Nainggolan up in 2018, who was their best midfielder at the time. This year, I mean, I'm looking at their starting lineup for today against Croatia. Like I love this guy, but like you can't be starting Dries Mertens, dude. I'm sorry, dude.
Oh yeah,
Like
he's like 35.
that's my guy, but you can't be starting him. I
Those
don't
days are
think you
over.
I don't think you can start Trossard from Brighton. Like I'm sorry.
No,
Like
Trossard,
you
no.
got you got
I was shocked he got called up. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
was kind of shocked too. I'm
I
not mad
like
at
him.
him.
I like Trossard.
I'm not mad at him getting called up. I think he's a
Yeah.
good player. I've watched him play for Brighton. He scored a lot of goals
Mhm.
this season, and he's good. But I don't think you start him over Batshuayi. Like their midfield with Alex Witzel and Den Dunker, like that is really rough, yo.
2018 all over it.
Like Den Dunker is literally like he's like below Rabiot levels. Like, and the back line is Castagna, who I've heard of him. I don't know where he plays. Vertonghen, Alderweireld, and Thomas Meunier. Like, that's right. You got two. Like, first of all,
Three
that's
center backs.
yeah, that's too much height. Like, although
Three giant center backs
like
with no speed.
Thomas Meunier forever, like that's the homie. But like,
Why is everybody in that back line above 6'2"? It's so
yeah,
weird.
it's really like I don't know what. It seems shocking, but when I'm looking at this lineup, I'm like, this team doesn't have to. This team doesn't have to do anything. Like that team does not have to advance in this group. They're not that good.
Yeah.
We think about Belgium, especially thinking about Belgium before the World Cup. Like you think of Kevin De Bruyne, you think of Lukaku, who was like, even Lukaku came in and he's missed like 3-4 shots. Like I'll say this about Lukaku for whatever like skills he has. I think that we can all agree, like, he's not somebody who thrives under pressure.
No.
Like,
No.
he couldn't cut it at Man U. Like, he's balling at Everton, couldn't cut it at Man U. Went to Inter Milan, which is a lot less pressure.
Went back to Chelsea, didn't cut it again.
Went back to Chelsea, didn't cut it again. Like, yeah, you're going to ball at Inter Milan. There's not that much pressure. Inter Milan ain't won the league in forever. So there's not pressure. They won the league, they balled out, and he had a great season, but he did it with less pressure. So him coming in, like, I feel like he doesn't really have the mental fortitude to really, like,
especially post injury.
coming off the injury. And he looked fine, but like,
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem like they have leaders. Then you hear about fights in the locker room, like these guys are beefing. And
yeah, apparently they don't get along.
yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's, there are some things in Belgium, some kind of some separation lines in Belgium. I don't know if it's that or if it's just like, why the hell is Eden Hazard starting 2 matches? Like, why? Like, somebody be like, why is this bum starting? Like, his brother should be starting, if anything.
Honestly, let's keep it real. Why did he get called up? I know it's because of his name, but what has he done what has he done since that last World Cup? He's been an injury mess. He's scored 1 goal like in 9 months for Real Madrid. Like,
no, he's really bad.
Are you really getting the most informed players? I don't really think you're doing that. He has I think Roberto Martinez got a lot of picks that he just did because it's easy to pick them, but I don't think he really sat down with like a scout team and strategized a squad to come up and all this. I'm like, this team is just like you're just turning in your homework. I don't think you really did your homework. You know what I mean? Like
Yuri Tillerman's on the bench. Like, he's a good player, dude. Start him.
No.
Like, why are you starting Den Donker?
It's such a weird lineup this game. Like that's called sending it. No wonder he resigned. He full sent it at the end. He's like, I'm done. So weird. Like
and you know what, too? I don't really know about Thierry Henry being there as the assistant. Like, I feel like he's just like getting him a check. Like, what the hell does Thierry Henry do there, dude?
why don't we ask Monaco players what they think of Thierry Henry?
Like, literally, like, you think like Thierry Henry is proven to not be a good coach. But every single time he just leaves somewhere, he just goes back to Belgium being assistant. Roberto Martinez is just giving him a check from the Belgian people.
He really said.
Literally. Like, what the
What
hell
a
is
homie.
he doing? Like, what's that?
What did he owe him? Wonder what happened back in the day. He must have owed him something.
Right? But yeah, Belgium's out. Another team that's out that was for sure more of a shock. Germany. Germany could not cut it. Your boy Fulkrug or whatever the hell his name is, who I never heard of until to this tournament. Had y'all ever heard of that guy? Full?
No.
Okay. He said who? Germany ending on 4 points, but below Spain in goal differential, and they lost to Japan and they drew Spain in their one. I mean, damn, I'm looking at this and like Japan got 2 dubs and 1 loss. Germany and Spain just ones across bums. Um, but yeah, big shock for a lot of people that Germany is out. What happened, Holly?
Honestly, I mean, I didn't watch too many Germany games or any of their games, to be honest, but I just feel like they're kind of going, I feel like they're going through a bit of a weird period too. Just like people were saying Spain was, and like is in a transition era. Yeah, like I swear Thomas Muller has been 33 for like 10 years. Like
Something going on with that too.
yeah. But I don't know. Like I just think it's becoming a thing that, you know, other nations are catching up, and a lot of the bigger ones that have previously been successful are going through these awkward stages of finding a new, you know, starting 11 or core group of players to stick around. But I don't know, like I watched the end of the Costa Rica game with you guys, and we were talking about it, and like, you know, obviously they were started to beat up on Costa Rica in the last, like, I don't know, 20 minutes, but I wouldn't really call it too much. I wouldn't really say it's that impressive.
No.
It wasn't impressive. And I mean, I had them in my bracket to leave to get out of the group because I didn't really have much faith in Japan or Costa Rica, to be honest, but I don't really see them having an easy path. Like they'll probably get knocked out in the round of 16.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at Germany's starting lineup for today, and I mean, it's a good team. They have good players. Like even starting Thomas Muller, like, you know, he's still good. Like you wouldn't think that they're not good enough to make it out of the round of six, make it out of the group. I feel like Germany, if they had like one more game, they could, you know, like, because it's not a bad team. Like looking at Belgium's lineup, it's like that's kind of rough, but Germany is pretty good. I mean, I don't, I never heard of Raum, and I think Sule is kind of rough. I don't really, you know, they say that Musela is good, but like, you know, you got Kimmich, who's a baller, Gundogan, Goretzka, Sane, Gnabry. Like you got good players. It's just, I mean, it's also that thing. It's like any given Sunday. It's like, you know, a team can get you, you know, especially if you're not playing as intense as them. Caesar, did you watch any of the other Germany games, or did you just see today?
I saw this one. I saw the Japan one.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did. I will say that when it comes to Germany, I think that they don't have good connection up top with what they want to do offensively. I think they're a team that really needs a 9. Like they need that for the connection. They thrive in that the offense they run. It would be perfect for them because they have good midfielders, they have good wingers. They just don't have that missing connection workhorse man in the middle. You know, they don't have that. And Havertz is absolutely not that guy at all. He's a winger that likes to float around, but they put him there. The first game they didn't have Sane. He was injured, but still you have really good players and Serge and everybody. I just think that this is the second World Cup in a row, you know, and Germany, you know, I wish I had more empathy in my heart, but I don't. You know, I've suffered endless abuse as a result of Germany.
Why?
2014 World Cup, nice try. So this puts a smile on my face, but I still respect Germany as a team. And
yeah, for sure.
And also I didn't want to see my boy Rudiger sad like that. I like him a lot. So that sucked. But yeah, they're really missing I think it's just literally one piece. They need to get like a real legit center forward and kind of build off that, and they'd be fine. Like they don't have like a rough team at all. That fullback they had with the tattoos, he's a baller, dude. Rom or something like that. He's really good.
I guess that Fulkrig guy is a center forward, but he's just like not that good. Probably
he plays for Werder Bremen. Like what?
Yeah, that's rough.
What are we doing here, dude?
And to be honest with you, that's going to be an issue for a lot of teams. Like I don't want to get all into it, but a real center forward is a dying breed. So it's not going to be easy for teams to like. Sometimes that position is something you need, and if you just don't you just don't have one or one that's good enough. But yeah, whatever. I mean, it's the World Cup. You're out of here, dude. Just go home. Actually, it's probably better, dude. Go home, be with your family, or go train at the real facility. Get out of that